Hello, everybody, and welcome to Empire's sixth podcast. I am Stephen Ogden, your host, and everybody, welcome. Today's podcast is going to be on another touchy subject. Today's topic is white supremacy. So let me give you a little warning. Warning, this is a highly sensitive topic and has the potential to offend some individuals. We at Empire Corp, myself included, do not believe in racism in any way, shape, or form. This podcast is meant strictly to inform the public about what takes place behind these walls so that we may reform the system. You know, that's our number one thing is we want to reform. We want to fix this system. And racism, white supremacy back here is holding us all back. Let me explain. So where else in the United States do you know of that you go in and the cafeteria, or as we call it, the chow hall, and there's a whites only seating or a Hispanic only seating or a blacks only seating? What about a telephone? Whites only, Hispanic only, blacks only. You know, that's what goes on in here. And people use the guy saying, well, there's not enough phones for all of us, so we have to divide it up by race. And I say, BS, there's the same amount of people in here that we could divide it up by how many people use each phone, you know, and, you know, people fall back on that. And when we first come into prison, we are told, you know, your people are over there. Or your people are over there. If you want to learn about anything, go talk to your people. You know, and what they mean is the white boys are over there. That's what they told me, at least. And when I came in, and I had to learn a whole new way of thinking. I wasn't allowed to go sit with any of the guys I had done any juvenile time with, or had been in group homes with, or from the other races that I knew. And I wasn't allowed to eat in the chow hall with them. I had to eat on the other side of the chow hall. I wasn't allowed to sell with anybody that wasn't white. I wasn't allowed to make a spread or eat with anybody that wasn't white. And it's a new way of thinking when you come in here, and you become indoctrinated into it. You know, someone that does life on the installment plan, like myself, you know, I'm in and out. And you conform to it. You can't say, hey, I don't agree with that way of thinking, because like I said on the last podcast, this system is ruled with an iron fist. It's ruled with violence. So if I say, no, I'm going to go live with my friend, or I'm going to go eat with them over there, you know, the next step for that is violence. And so youngsters fall in line. They get schooled and they get taught this is how it is in here, and there's nothing you can do about it. Deal with it or get beat up. You get thrown to the wolves if not. And I just think that it's an old way of thinking. I think that it's from the 1950s, 60s. You know, I think they said everything was supposed to change in the 1960s with, I think, 1964. And it changed everywhere but prison. If we're stuck in that old way of thinking, how are we going to move on? How are we going to change ourselves? If we're stuck in 1960s way of thinking, how are we going to change to 2023 way of thinking? You know, let me tell you a little bit about what I went through as a juvenile. So I did a lot of juvenile time. I was in the Department of Youth Corrections twice. And there's no white supremacist gangs in there, really. There's no white boy cliques. There's none of that. So when you come into juvenile, it's definitely gang related. There's a ton of gangs. There's a lot of security threat group stuff going on. And you have to fit in somewhere. And if you don't, you're an outcast. You know, you're getting beat up. You're fighting kids. You know, we don't get commissary in there, but we get snacks and we get food. And, you know, me being a white kid from the country that wasn't from any kind of gang or anything like that, I was treated as an outcast. And I went through a lot of crap, and it was hard on me. So knowing that, seeing what other people have to go through in the adult system because of their race, their ethnicity, their way of thinking, their culture, I don't agree with it, you know. And I think that, like I said, in order for us to change and for us to get better and to fit into society, we have to get a new way of thinking. We have to change this culture behind the walls that says that there's whites only seating, or there's a whites only phone, or there's a blacks only phone, or a Hispanics only phone. I think it's outdated, and I think that as a community we need to get involved and help change that. And I ask, for your guys' solutions to the problems that I present. So again, I'm going to ask, what do you guys think? What are some solutions? Well, how could we change this? What do you guys think about it? Like, it's very, it's a huge topic in America right now, ending racism. In the Super Bowl, in the end zone, I seen at the end of the end zone, it said end racism. Well, that has to end here too, because if not, the 90% or so of individuals that are getting released into your community are going to be coming out with this way of thinking. The youth are going to get indoctrinated to it when they get here, and eventually when they're released, they're going to enter into society with that way of thinking. And I think we need to combat it here. I think that it's a big deal. How does this affect people's long-term thinking? As we move into society, I'm not sure. I'm not a scientist. I don't understand all that, but I know that you guys can help us in here. I have a few solutions that I would like to see presented. I would like to see the community start getting involved with some activities within the prison. So they do things here like for CrossFit, for weightlifting, for church, for things like that. I would like to see some multicultural events take place. You can't attack, hate with hate. You can't attack it with, rules and regulations and policies, because it just doesn't work. But if we take on this problem with compassion, with love, with respect in different forms, I really believe that, things could start to change. And, that's the point of Empire's podcast, is to bring solutions to these problems. So if you guys could click on the Facebook icon on my YouTube channel, maybe connect to my group page, and maybe start asking some questions, giving some responses. There's also the section below where you can leave comments and ask questions. My father is more than happy to forward those questions and comments and responses to me. I would love to hear your guys' opinions and what you guys think and what we could do to end this problem behind these walls and move forward into 2023. Also, if my father is doing it correctly, which I'm sure he is because he's a computer whiz, you will be seeing my information down below. You'll see my name, my DOC number, my address, and some JPay information so that you guys can contact me directly if you would like to. Next week, I'm gonna be on a lighter subject. It's gonna be a podcast. I'm gonna call it Cooking with Chaos. We're gonna make a burrito spread, and I'm gonna teach you guys how we eat back here behind these walls. And I'm gonna show you guys start to finish a whole entire burrito spread, as we like to call it. So you guys have a good day, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.